What up, y'all? This is your boy Dre back at it again with another dope reaction. I found this guy named Isaiah Robin. He talks about Will Smith speaking on gaining a lot of success, but still recognized at the end through all of that he's still missing something, which is God. So we're just gonna go through a small little bit of the segments. Not gonna watch the whole thing. I will have his channel in the description if you want to check out the whole thing. But let's go ahead and get straight into it.
All right, family. So the other day I showed you guys a episode of Will Smith saying what religion he was from, but also in that same interview he said something very profound, right? And he went into depth on how it feels to reach the end of success. Now, nobody really talks about that. I don't think I've ever even heard that before.
True.
I talk about different things when it comes to people who are successful, who get everything they want, and then that void is not filled. I've said that many times on this channel. A lot of people commit suicide because of that. Different people, you know, end up in a state of torture or torment because of that. And Will Smith literally talks about it. How he reached the point where there's no more success. And there's only God after that. And to see Will Smith talk about that was just mind-blowing. So I want to...
Now, just keep in mind, you know, Will Smith's been in the game of, you know, not just Hollywood, but just success in general for a very long time. Like, you know, crazy 25 to 30 years of just nonstop success. So, you know, you have to also factor that in too. Like, how much success can you get for so long to where you figure out and find out that that itself material is not going to be enough to fulfill your soul. So, you know,
share that clip with you guys. Check this out.
The death of the loss of that thing, trusting yourself and God to create the new thing.
Yeah.
You know,
that's so you're like,
shout out to
for me, you're like the closest picture to a person embodying the ancient Jewish text of Ecclesiastes. A person who's like, I've experienced it all. I've seen it all. I've done it all. And it didn't really do what I thought it was gonna do. It didn't define me the way that I thought it would. And so I'm gonna just tell you this. And I think that takes a lot of courage because,
well, first of all, people don't want to hear it. So you know how most people end up, they try to talk about that.
Yeah,
yeah, right. So, and it's like, it is such a rare gift to reach the end of the material world.
Elaborate.
Right.
Talk about that.
To reach the end of money. To get to the point where you can buy anything you want and you sit in your house and there's nothing else to buy. Whereas buying things used to like scratch an itch.
Yeah.
And now there's nothing else to buy.
Oh my God. It's like being an addict. Like you want to get everything that you possibly wanted and then you still want to scratch that itch, but you can't because there's nothing else to scratch. Dude, that has to be, oh my God. Yeah.
Right, to hit the end of the material world, right? You know, to have had all the sex that you want to have, and
I read the book.
Yeah, and it's
you did a lot of things.
Yeah, you get to the end of that, right? How many more #1 movies do I need? How many more Grammys do I need, right? And it is such a rare gift to get to the end of the material world.
Guys, he's saying exactly what I've said before in a different way. People get all this money. First of all, people get all this money. They get all these things. They buy everything they want. They go on all the vacations they want. They mess with all the people they want. And at the end of that temporary fulfillment, you realize you are still empty.
Okay, so I want to pick it back off this, right? Because this is a good angle. Yes. I believe that when you get a certain amount of success, you know, I don't even think you have to have multi-millions of dollars. I think a person who makes on average 100K a month or 100K a year, you know what I'm saying, is able to take care of their necessities if they don't live outside of their living expense, right? And basically, with this angle that he's about to talk about is, yes, you got people who are very depressed once they get to that material world, but then you do have people who are highly successful and they make good money, but they also give back a lot. And that's their way of finding ways to find purpose in life, is to use the income they have, to use it as a tool to leverage to make people's lives around them better. And it becomes less about them no more and more about the people around them and the people out there that they can touch and give opportunities. So yeah, I think that's a thing about it. It's like if you had your mind only focused on material success for your own gain, that's cool, just so you can get to where you need to be at in life. But you have to then also start changing your mind to where it's like, all right, where am I going to be at where I can put other people in positions to change people's lives, to where it's not about me. You know what I'm saying? Like when you first trying to get out the dirt and you're trying to get out of the situation, yeah, it's probably about you because you're trying to preserve your state of conscious, yourself, your just you as a being. You know what I'm saying? You try to be in a better place so you can provide for your family and yourself. But then it has to come to a place where that becomes like different, and also still searching, God. Like if you don't have God and whoever you serve or whatever the case might be, spiritually, whatever, and you don't have a foundation for that, that too can be a major problem. And it's going to be the first major problem. But I'm saying even after that, it's like, okay, what are you going to do with as far as giving to the communities, to making the world a better place? I believe that like getting the resources and all these things that are opportunities that comes into some people's lives, that is to try to make the world a better place. If you notice, most of the successful people is providing some type of great service that humanity can use. Those are the people who are successful. They find ways to solve problems. So yeah, that's something that I just had to like mention, because I don't want people to think that just because you gain a lot of material success and success in general in the world doesn't mean that it can be useful leverage to make the world better. Like you choose what you want to do with it, right? No one's forcing you. But a lot of times people don't know what to do after they get to that crossroad, when they find out they got everything they want and they haven't thought about maybe transitioning to impacting people's lives. So sorry it was a long take, but these things that I think on a daily basis myself. So it's cool for me to just weigh in and kind of give my thoughts on that.
That is a crazy place to be, because you see different people like Will Smith who reached that place, and he's even saying like, yeah, it's nothing after, it's nothing there. But he's saying nobody really wants to hear that though. They still want to chase what they're seeing being done, because people make it look like it's so cool, it's so fun. But in actuality, perspective is reality nowadays. What you see on social media, you think it's actually real. You think they're like that 24/7. A lot of different couples on social media that you think is just having a good old time, suffering domestic abuse behind the scenes.
He's naming some good stuff.
You see flashing money and partying all the time are being tormented in their own mind behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Got to step out of that delusional reality and step into truth, which is God.
All right, so I had to let him finish that because I was expecting him to probably say God. So another thing, right? It's just a cool, great saying that I hear. It's like what people showed you in front of the door of the house is not what it seems to be in the behind the doors, behind the closed doors, right? And so everybody has their struggles. They'll have the mask on their face and have the crazy smiles and like they're happy, but trust me, everybody has problems and they're dealing with, whether it's family problems, whether it's financial, whether it's insecurities, whether it's spiritually, all types of stuff. So when you look on these medias and social medias and you see people, show you a quick highlight of their life, that's a quick highlight. It's not their whole day, right? Their whole day is not like that. And it's just something to really be mindful about.
In the place where only God is left.
Right?
And it's like, it's interesting. I think we may have talked about this before. Yeah, we talked about this before, where people usually do that when they hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
But there's a corresponding place to rock bottom that I call cliff top. where you actually pop out of the top of the material world and there's nothing left here.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to, inward is the only place left.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no country you can go to.
Yeah.
There's no new relationship you can start. There's no job that's going to do it. There's nothing. You even, you know, you get to the end of it and it's like, it's excruciating, but I would wish that on everybody. I wish everybody could have everything they want.
To see.
God, he says it's excruciating, but I wish that for everybody, because once you get that, when you finally scratch all your scratches, you get that itch off. Now it's time for you to face what you've been running from in the inside, and that's very powerful, man. It's very powerful.
To see,
It doesn't satisfy.
Doesn't matter.
Satisfy.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a place that I've discovered within myself that is an infinite well.
You were made for more than the
Yes, it's
the
like
external things.
Yeah.
right in the heart of you is the doorway to the mystery.
Wow.
And unfortunately, it's right in the center of exactly where you don't want to go inside yourself. Exactly the things you don't want to address, exactly the things you don't want to deal with. And it just takes a heroic spiritual effort to look into that interior abyss.
It's kind of it's almost like you're the antithesis of everything people expect when you reach the pinnacle.
Right, you know, and it's like there's an external pinnacle, and then there's an internal pinnacle. Right.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go ahead and allow him to finish what Will Smith had to say, and then we're gonna go ahead and end it from here. But I want to say this: what he had to go through after the situation incidents about 2 years ago, I believe, that happening, right? He wasn't supposed to make it through this. Like that, your whole livelihood and your success is built on your imagery of who you are and your brand and everything, right? Movies to music, TV shows, commercials, all that. And to then have the whole world kind of look at you and point fingers and say, you did wrong and we don't want you involved until, you know, a certain time of whatever they feel is appropriate for counseling, right? There's nowhere else for him to go. No people, no material. He has to go face himself and say, hey, what is it in me that caused me to do certain things or to feel a certain way or for me to look for other people's approval? Instead, like, had to look at himself and do a lot of spiritual groundwork. You can see it. Like, you can hear from this guy, Will, of how he's coming out, and lately just his whole press run is just as far as how he had to restructure his life and see it, you know, relook at himself. And it takes a lot of commitment and honesty, looking within himself. So, man, shout out to him for, like, you know, working on doing deep work on himself, because it's a topic conversation that should be have in general. You know, that there's nothing wrong chasing success, but also be mindful that there's success that needs to be chased inside too.
Right. And the external pinnacle is great because you just get started, you learn some of the skills, and then you let it all go and you try to reconcile your relationship with reality with none of that stuff. Try to reconcile your relationship with the personality of God without all that stuff.
Yeah. Now
that's a cool way to end it off for that. If y'all enjoyed, man, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I would like to make more dope reactions in my intake over a lot of pop cultural things and just any cool stuff. Let me know in the comment section, because, you know, I've started off, those who don't know me, I started off doing, you know, some gaming and then music reactions. You know, that's kind of like where it started to take me to where I got to like 10K subscribers. But, you know, I found a purpose in myself also to want to branch out and start providing just dope insights, funny reactions, and dope things outside of music reactions, and started to just aim to doing something a little different on this channel and trying to just grow into a different entity. So if y'all want to see more dope stuff, or you have something that you want to show me, send it down in the comment section, comment it, and I'll do a reaction over it. Anyways, hit that subscribe button. See y'all in the next one. Peace.